Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Bear with me for a second because I realized as we're getting set to play Amerika Bomber by Compass Games, heading back up to our bomber in the Azores in World War II Europe, I actually grabbed the wrong bomber. As I'm actually in an ME-364, as we're in our alternate timeline of World War II Europe. This one where the Germans have actually won the war, and they're going after the United States with an air base in the Azores under pressure from Portugal. So that's what we're doing here. I just needed to swap out the bomber so I have the right one ready to go. That goes in here. Okay. We'll get that out of the way. I do apologize for the glare on some of this, but there's not much I can do about that. Anywho, without much further ado, what say we jump into our mission and get our raid? So we're going to start off. We are looking at we're looking at our second patrol for June 1947. So we're rolling on this chart. Also hoping that I have a little better mission than I did last time, because on our leaflet drop, we got our plane reduced basically to Swiss cheese. So we've got a new bomber here. I'll be rolling these APA style. Black is my 10s, white is my 1s. Let's see what we get here. That's a 13, so we're being sent to hit Fort Monmouth in Little Silver, New Jersey. Little Silver. I'm just making a note here. Yep. Little Silver, New Jersey. So we'll grab the target zone as being zone 5. And I'm just going to find the rulebook so I can get some of the procedures I need. The rulebook for this game is actually one that is pretty good. So now we're going to get started with our first encounter. We don't have an encounter in zone 1. We'll get to zone 2 in a minute. Here we go, zone 2. All right, that's a 7. We got 2 P-80s coming at us. So I'll get the P-80s out here. So I'll bring this position chart in shot for the time being. We'll see if we're still going to have to deal with them, though, because we're getting ready for friendly fighter cover. Let's see where we've got them coming at us. So to do that, we'll get a D10 and a D6. I'll use the D10 for the approach, D6 for the level, unless the D10 is a 9 or a 10. All right, that's approach 6. So coming at us at about 430 level. And then for the other one, that's approach 7 high. So that's coming at us from 730 high. All right, so that is 6 level, 7 high. Now we get to roll for fighter cover to see if we run anything, if the friendly Luftwaffe runs anything off. We'll use a D6 for that. 1 to 5 will remove 1. On a 6, remove nothing. That's a 3, so we do get to remove a fighter. The question is, what do we want to get rid of here? Let's see. So these are 4 turrets that we can aim at the fighters. The top front can go at 1 to 8. So it can go at 1 to 8. Top turrets can go at 1 to 8 level and high. So we can aim both of these at that. The ventral turret can go after... The ventral turret actually can't go after the one coming at us approach 6 level. Nose guns, of course, can't do anything about that. Tail guns can also attack both of these. So we're actually going to drive off the one at approach 6 level because I can only put one turret on that. So we are going to drive that one off. Right. Button getting driven off. Then we'll go for our long-range roll. First, we'll assign our turrets. We're going to assign the top front turret and the ventral turret both at that one. Which those are the ones, top front turret we established is going at 1 to 8 level and high. And the ventral turret, actually the ventral turret can aim at, I think it's the tail guns we actually want. Yeah, it's the tail guns we want. So we'll let the P-80 move in. We'll move to long range. We'll take our shot with the, so this is for long range. And what did we say? Top front turret and tail guns. We are rolling a, okay, so at a 7, so at approach 7, we actually need a 4 to 6 to hit. So I'm going to use the white D6 for the hit result, black for the damage. And we're starting off with the top front turret, which has a power of 6 to it. That's a 4, so we do hit it, and a 1 says it's going to be damaged, so it will break off. So it will break off after it does its hit. Hold on just a second. I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hit damaged. There we are. Okay, now we'll roll for the tail guns. That's a 6. That will hit another damaged result. Actually, one thing I'm wondering about is, do 2 damaged rolls stack up? I know when you're talking about crew injuries, those do stack up. So, no altitude rolls there. Damaged fighters fire then break off. Actually, I want to look at that, because that, after defensive fire, a fighter which is damaged twice is destroyed. So we do take out the one that was coming at us from approach 7. So a very nice job by our bomber once I get that out. So we did manage to flatten the one that was coming at us from approach 7. And I got to flip the tail gun over as well. So a very nice job in that one. Over to zone 3 next. Rolling for another encounter, or for another interception. That's a 7. We got it again. 2 P-80s once again. So we need the position chart right back in shot. Same roll as we did earlier for where they're coming at us from. First one is approach 9, so vertical climb. And for the other one is coming at us from approach 6, but this time low. So we've got vertical climb and 6 low. Let's see if we get any friendly fighter cover here. On a 1 to 3, we get to remove a fighter. Excuse me. That's a 1, so we do get to remove a fighter. Let's see, can we put anything at vertical climb? That's approach 9. We can't aim the ventral turret at that, and we're only going to have 1 round at it, so we'll have it drive off the one at approach 6. So we'll do that. So now we assign our turrets. As I mentioned, we can only put the ventral turret at vertical climb. So the ventral turret's got a power of a 6 to it. I'll swap that 3 out for a 2, and we'll see what we're doing against that fighter. At approach 9, we need a 5 or a 6 to hit it. That is a 5, and with a power of a 6, on a 4 we destroy it. So very nicely done, as we managed to shoot down that P-80. So excellent job there. I guess the game decided, hey, we've turned his plane into Swiss cheese last time. Let's throw him a little bone. We'll move into Zone 4. At this point, our friendly fighter cover has flown off. We're at the end of the Luftwaffe's range. That's a boxcars, which actually is a random event. So we'll find our random event listing, which is right here. So we've got our random events. Let's see what we get here for a random event. A 7 says, ooh, Du musst Schwein haben, meaning literally, you must have a pig. This is slang for you must have good luck. The player may reroll any one die or dice roll. The good luck can carry forward into the next sortie, and more than one may be accumulated. Cool. Wow, actually the way we're rolling today, yeah, we probably do have some luck. Let me see if there's a chit in here for that. So bear with me just a second while I check for it. Skill bombs. Actually, I do think I want the bombs to be in there. Let's see. Not there. That's more rank badges. Nope. What about in here? Skill, ace pilots, leaflets. No. Leadership, no. Landing expert. Veteran pilots, not there either. Electronics wizard, here we go. Schweinhabel. I probably just butchered the pronunciation of that, but there's our good luck charm. So now we've got a free reroll that we can use. And now we're headed into Zone 5. This is the target zone. I think that's the first time since I started playing the Hunters we've actually had a random event. So we're going to roll for an interception like normal. An 8, this time no contacts. That's very good luck. But now we have to roll for anti-aircraft. We'll figure out how much anti-air we've got coming at us, or how heavy it is. So first is a 4, which I believe is going to be medium anti-air. Yep. Okay, medium. I'm going to release two loads of chaff to reduce that by. So I'm going to reduce the die roll modifier by 5 on a 2d6 roll. So here's our 2d6 roll coming up. That's a 9 minus 5 is 4 hits. Which I could re-roll that, but I'm not going to. So we've got 4 hits, which we'll need our APA style dice for once again. A 64, that's a weapons hit. Let's see what that hits. $11 is the nose turret, so that's knocked out. Okay, so the nose turret's knocked out for the rest of the sortie. Let's see what we get next. We've got 3 more hits coming in. 14 is electronics. Uh-oh. Electronics hit, that's knocking out 9, the jammer. The Cat and Boone jammer is out. Which that... Let's see, it receives a -2 random hits of working. If hit, this die roll modifier is lost. Joy. Okay. A 22 is a nose hit. Uh-oh. Nose is going to turn into 6 is minor damage, so that'll scratch off. Okay. Then we have a 62. That's uh-oh. That could be a problem. That might be something we want to re-roll. Because a Bombay hit... let's let that go. If it hits bombs, then we'll re-roll it. We need a Snake Eyes for it to hit the bombs. Actually, Snake Eyes or an 11 would hit the bombs. That's a 4. That'll knock out the top turret, which I think given that we could have had the... Given that we could have had the bombs hit very easily, I'm going to be happy with that and not take a chance. That is going to make us a little bit more... That's going to make us a little bit defenseless, but like I said, I'd rather that gets hit than the bomb. Actually, wait a second. A top turret hit. I've been ruling top front turret, but it looks like there's a different thing for that. So actually, top turret doesn't do anything to us because we don't have a top turret. So we get away with one there. Now we have to roll to see if the bombing run is going to be on target. We want to see a 1 to 4 as Randy Smith now joins us here. That's a 3, so our bombing run is on target. We'll see how effective we do. How effective we are. On target, and another 2d6 roll for that. So we're on target. 7 is 30% on target. That's not bad in the grand scheme of things. Then we are taking anti-air fire again. Since we're still in the target zone, we're getting ready to turn around and head for home. But we've got another round of anti-air fire to endure. Let's see how heavy it is first. That's a 4, so we've got another medium round. Actually, the jammer should have been out, so... The jammer should have been knocking us down by 2 because we had the jammer, so we lose that modifier. We'll take it out of these. Actually, we'll take it out of these hits this time. So we are going to launch our last 2 chaff. Our last 2 barrels of chaff. So we've got a -4 on the roll. And a 2d6 roll. Actually, -5 total because of the medium anti-air. And we're going to take the additional 2 hits that we shouldn't have had on from the inbound anti-air. So a 7. Actually, that's going to be -7. That'll be no hits. Remember, I'm taking the 2 hits that should have been taken out of the inbound off now. So apologies for that ramble, but we are about to turn around and head back for home. So we're headed into zone 4. We're rolling for interception here. That's a 7. We've got 2 P-80s coming at us. And unfortunately, we've got no friendly fighter cover help. So we need the position chart and shot again. Thankfully, our nose guns are out. So let's see where we've got our first P-80 coming at us from. First one is coming at us from approach 5, so 9 o'clock high. So we'll get a high chit out for that one. Actually, yeah, approach 5 is 9 o'clock high. And then the other one is coming at us from approach 10. So that is vertical dive. Right here. Vertical dive. Okay, so our nose guns are knocked out, which means we can't do anything. We can't do anything 1 to 3 right now. Not that we've got anybody coming at us from there anyway. We can't assign the tail guns either. So the nose guns are out. The nose guns are out. They're not a thing we can use. The tail guns we won't need. The ventral turret, we can't aim that there. So I think we will aim the top front turret at... We'll aim the top front turret at approach 5. And then the ventral turret... The ventral turret we can't use. So never mind that. I guess we will start then with the P-80 coming at us from 9 o'clock high. From approach 5, that one won't be a hit anyway, but from approach 5, we would need a 5 or a 6. So we're going to do the same thing for... So we miss... what is that? That's the top front turret. So top front turret gets a point of ammo taken away from it. We'll roll for the one coming at us from vertical dive first. Needs a 5 or a 6 to hit us as well. So we're going to do, so for the fighters, we're going to do white for the fire result, black for how many hits. We're doing vertical dive first. Yikes, that's the worst thing that could have happened. So a 5, but it does do a package of a hit is obtained. So it's going to do a hit to each wing, airframe, crew, bomb bay, electronics, and a random hit. So I'm going to bring the notebook over so I can note all of that. Get my iPad out of the way for a second. So we've got random wing hit, airframe, crew, bomb bay, electronics, and a random hit. Alright, so the airframe hit is easy enough to do. I can just grab a single point chit right here, and I'll put that on my bomber, which is just off, which is the part of the airframe looks to be just very barely in shot. So that's the airframe done. We've got a wing hit, which I'm going to need this chart here. So the wing hit, we're going to roll the D10 to determine which one. Even for, or odds for port, evens for starboard. And then we'll roll on our subchart for the wing hit. Alright, that's odds. So that'll be so odds 8, that'll be a port flap. So port flap so we've got a port flap hit. Then we need to get a crew hit. For a crew injury, we roll first for who this is affecting. That's a 6, so we're affecting a random gunner. So gunner, we can affect either the ventral or the tail gunner. We'll say, actually we need, on the white die, evens for, we'll say odds for ventral, evens for tail. And then the black die will be for how bad it is. Uh-oh, odds was ventral gunner, the ventral gunner's KIA. That's a problem. So ventral gunner is KIA. Which basically means the ventral gunner's out. The ventral turret is out at this point. We've got a Bombay hit coming in though. Which a 9 is the Bombay doors, but we don't care about that because we've already done the bombing run. So yeah, those can get bent for all I care. Then we've got the electronics hit. And 11 is the chaff dispenser. Once again, we don't care about that because the chaff has already served its purpose. And then for our random hit, we'll start off by rolling on our main damage chart. 16 is a nose hit. Let's see what it's hitting. Nose hit on a 7 is minor damage. Okay, we missed we missed. For long range, we'll see what this P80 can do. It needs a 5 or a 6 as well. Which that's a miss. He's going to fly off as he moves into medium range. So the P80 from vertical dive is gone. Flies off after 1 round of combat. But the P80 is moving in from medium range. Same parameter we've got before, as we had before. We'll spend another ammo from the top front. Actually, the top front turret. Nope, the top front turret's fine. It's the ventral turret that got knocked out by the ventral gunner getting killed. Alright, that's a hit. He's damaged, so he'll break off after this. He'll break off after this, but he's going to roll for his attack first. Hopefully he gets a low roll. Which that'll work. Okay, so he will fly off. We'll get this all out of shot. And we shouldn't be too far from the end of this mission. We're headed into Zone 3 here next. So now we actually pick up a decent chance of friendly fighter cover. Which I need that right there. But let's roll for interception. An 8. An 8 is no contact, actually. I was about to throw my hands up and be like, I've got 2 P80s again? But I will actually take that. So we're in Zone 3, Zone 2. I'd love this to be another no contact, because then we're landing this bird. 6, ask, and ye shall receive. So now we'll start with a weather roll to see what kind of weather we've got trying to land this thing. That'll be a D10 roll. 4 is good weather, so no special modifiers trying to put this thing down. We've got, well, this will be a straight 2d6 roll. The only way this turns into a problematic landing, actually, is probably in my dreams, if I'm being honest. And a 5, yeah, that'll be a nice, safe landing. So this was a 30% on target. This was my 4th run on target. So we do get +1 experience. So we go up to 2 experience at this point. And that's going to be where we call it a sortie. Very, very nicely done there. Let's make sure there's nothing else on. We didn't take much damage here. I don't think it'll be enough for us to lose a sortie upon reaching ace status. How many fighters have I knocked out of the sky? Have we knocked out of the sky? Let's see. We've gone back to April 47. I've probably knocked enough fighters out of the sky to be considered an ace. So I'm just going to take I'm just going to take the ace bonus here at this point, since I probably earned that, which will give me a +1 die roll modifier when shooting at, actually upon reaching ace status at gunner. I haven't been tracking that, so I'll assume. So I'll assume our tail gunner's fine on that. It looks like our ventral gun. Actually, we'll assume all of our gunners are fine on that, except the ventral gunner, because we'll need a new ventral gunner for this sortie. So we'll assume everybody's an ace after that. But let's make sure there's no other kind of modifiers here. Made after the 4th month of service, which we have not got to yet. But I think that's any badges that we've gotten upon completing the 5th successful mission. So we should have the Iron Cross First Class as well. On the 5th, how do they define a successful bombing mission? It's probably after... So probably after an on-target mission where we actually hit. So we've actually got 4 of those, which means we don't get the Iron Cross First Class yet. But that will do it for this playthrough of Amerika Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies. Unlike our last play, the plane didn't get reduced to Swiss cheese. And since we only took 5 hits this time, 1, 2, 3, actually 4 hits, our plane will be repaired in plenty of time for our next sortie. So that's where we're going to call it a stream. I will be back with one more game later tonight, but I have not decided what that game is going to be yet. Hopefully you guys will join me for that later tonight, though. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe. CD Blackard stopping in. Noble Knight has a mint copy of this for $249.95. That's a bit much for me. Yeah, I would agree with that. You might get better luck on the geek market, actually. Before we sign off, let me look. I'll even do you a favor and look on the geek market, see if you get better luck. Amerika Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies. Not much actually. Looks like there's one in Germany for 90 euros, another one in Greece for 190 euros, and then 290 for a very good copy. Plus the aforementioned 250 for the one on Noble Knight. Maybe if they put this out as a Kickstarter or something, you'll have to get it then. Anywho, thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.